أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أشهد أن عليًّا ولي الله. أشهد أن عليًّا أمير المؤمنين وابنه المعصومين حجج الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. حي على خير العمل. حي على خير العمل. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. لا إله إلا الله. يا الله يا الله. ولا وجه الله وشرف النبي وآله الطاهرين، ولا شرف الزهراء والطيبة أم البنين وأمات الحاضرين، خصوصيا إلى سيدي مولاي علي الأكبر. الفاتحة مسبوقة بالصلاة على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
إخواني بس هنا نكمل الصفوف إذا أمر عليكم. كمل الصفوف جزاكم الله خير. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليك يا محسن وقد أتاك عبدك المسيء أنت المحسن وعلى المسيء فتجاوز عن عبدك الجميل ما عندك يا رب العالمين. الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد. أشهد أن عليًا ولي الله. أشهد أن عليًا حجة الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. حي على خير العمل. حي على خير العمل. قد قامت الصلاة. قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الرحمن الرحيم، مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم، صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الرحمن الرحيم، مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم، صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. كذلك الله ربي. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار بحق محمد وآله الأطهار. رب اغفر لي ولوالدي وارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا واجزهما بالإحسان إحسانا وبالسيئات عفوا وغفرانا بحق محمد وآله الطاهرين. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وتقبل شفاعته في أمته وارفع درجته بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. يا لطيف ارحم عبدك الضعيف، يا جليل ارحم عبدك الذليل. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
كريم ابن الحج جمال طاقم عمره توفي، فإن شاء الله بكرة يكون صلاة الجنازة، فنطلب منكم أن تحضروا إن شاء الله وتشاركوا بالجنازة. رحم الله أمواتكم. Tomorrow there's going to be a prayer on the for one of the brothers who's passed away, Kareem ibn Abu Jamal. Inshallah, we will confirm the timing of the Salat al-Janaza. It should be 10 o'clock. We will have details later on. We will announce the details. There will also be an email that goes out. We're just confirming the timing right now, but please do attend the Salat al-Janaza tomorrow.
رحم الله من يقرأ له سورة الفاتحة تسبقها الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أشهد أن عليًا ولي الله. أشهد أن عليًا حجة الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفره إنه كان توابا. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. لا إله إلا الله الحليم الكريم لا إله إلا الله العلي العظيم. سبحان الله رب السماوات السبع ورب الأرضين السبع وما فيهن وما بينهن ورب العرش العظيم. والحمد لله رب العالمين وصل اللهم على محمد وآله الطاهرين. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد، وتقبل شفاعته في أمته وارفع درجته بحول الله وقوته. أقوم وأقعد. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته. أقوم وأقعد. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. يا لطيف ارحم عبدك الضعيف، يا جليل ارحم عبدك الذليل. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. صلوات على محمد وآل محمد. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. Before we start the program, I would like to announce a few short things. Due to the weather outside, the youth event, the bonfire is cancelled. So we'll have the event upstairs instead in the main hall, inshallah, after the program. And Sunday we will be having a collaborational event with the Al-Huda Center, Al-Zahra Center, and Al-Wilaya Institute. The event will be running from 1 p.m. till 5:30 at this center right here. And it's definitely a program that you do not want to miss. Inshallah, there's going to be a big attendance. This Friday we'll have the Ashura program starting at 8:30 a.m. for English and 9 a.m. 8:30 a.m. for English and 9 a.m. for the Arabic program. Also, there's a madrasa registration that has just opened up right now. You can register your child outside at the table in the hallway, I believe. And please keep in mind, dear brothers and sisters, the children that we see at the center are the leaders of tomorrow, inshallah. And the madrasa will definitely be a good addition to their fundamental development when it comes to Islamic principles and social development, inshallah. So please consider signing your child up for madrasa. And also the fundraiser, we are currently at 60% of our target. So please, if you're able to, donate generously, inshallah. If we can now welcome our dear brother Muhammad for some Quran recitation with loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لا أقسم بهذا البلد وأنت حل بهذا البلد ووالد وما ولد. لقد خلقنا الإنسان في كبد. أيحسب أن لن يقدر عليه أحد. يقول أهلكت مالا لبدا. يقول أهلكت مالا لبدا يحسب أن لم يره أحد. ألم نجعل له عينين ألم نجعل له عينين ولسانا وشفتين وهديناه النجدين فلاقتحم العقبة وما أدراك ما العقبة فك رقبة أو إطعام في يوم ذي مسغبة يتيما ذا مقربة يتيما ذا مقربة أو مسكينا ذا متربة ثم كان من الذين آمنوا وتواصوا بالصبر وتواصوا بالمرحمة أولئك أصحاب الميمنة والذين كفروا بآياتنا هم أصحاب المشأمة عليهم نار مؤصدة صدق الله العلي العظيم. الصلوات. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد أجل فرضه لنا ولك.
Jazakallah khair, dear brother, for the beautiful recitation. If we can now invite the Sheikh to the podium with a loud salawat.
To hasten the reappearance of our 12th Imam, Imam Al-Mahdi, Ajalallah Ta'ala Farajahu Al-Sharif, please recite another loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد. اللهم صل صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا رسول الله. صلى الله عليك يا مولاي وابن مولاي يا أبا عبد الله، وعلى أخيك وحامل لوائك بالفضل العباس. صلى الله عليك يا أبا عبد الله الحسين يا غريب يا مظلوم يا عطشان، حسين يا حسين. Everyone together. حسين يا ما شاء الله، حسين يا حسين يا حسين. لعن الله الظالمين لكم سيدي يا أبا عبد الله، أمنا من لجأ إليكم فيا ليتنا كنا معكم فنفوز والله فوزا عظيما. إمام المهدي عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف in زيارة الناحية, and where he graphically describes the events of Ashura and the pain and the agony in which Imam al-Hussein Salamullahi alayhi and his holy household went through on that horrific day. He says, As-salamu ala al-shayb al-khadib. Peace be upon the gray hair that was dyed with blood. As-salamu ala al-khad al-tarib. Peace be upon the cheek that struck the dust. As-salamu ala al-badan al-salim. Peace be upon the butchered body of Aba Abdullah al-Hussein. السلام على الثغر المقروع بالقضيب. Peace be upon the front teeth that were beaten with a rod. السلام على الحسين. Everyone together. وعلى علي وعلى أولاد وعلى أصحاب الحسين وعلى عقيلة الحسين زينب وعلى أخيها وكافلها بالفضل العباس رحمة الله وبركاته. صلوات على محمد وآل محمد. أعظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم بمصابنا بسيدنا ومولانا أبي عبد الله الحسين صلوات الله وسلامه عليه، وجعلنا الله وإياكم من الطالبين بثأره مع وليه المنتظر القائم من آل بيت محمد صلوات الله وسلامه عليهم أجمعين. اللهم صل. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, in Surah Yusuf, verse 108, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, قل هذه سبيلي أدعو إلى الله على بصيرة أنا ومن اتبعني وسبحان الله وما أنا من المشركين. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in this verse, say this is my way. I'll call you to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I call you to me on the basis of clear perception, basira, insight. Both of you, everyone who follows me, glory be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is free from every imperfection, and I shall not associate anyone with His divinity. It is obvious, brothers and sisters, in life that every human being is different. There may be a family of four children, brought into the same household, same parents, go to the same school, been in the same environment, same mosque, same atmosphere. But we see that each and every one has a different way he or she views life. Each and every one is different when it comes to certain ideas and certain thoughts. Some of them may be of acceptance to certain ideas while the others may not. Some of them may accept some controversial topics and don't have a problem with them. There's a difference in the household. There's a difference of doing things. There's different ways and different approaches. And why is that? The simple question to that, it is because of the way each and everyone determines their positioning in life, which affects the decisions in which they take and the choices they decide to pursue. Which is what? Based on what? Based on their insight. Based on what is called basira, in the verse we just mentioned. Basira means awareness, means recognition, means intuition. It means the awareness of the heart. The root word of the word basira is basar. And basar means eyesight. That which you could see with your eye, with the naked eye. However, basira is not that what you could see with the naked eye. It's that what you could see with the purity of your heart. And we spoke about this many different times, that we are able to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we are able to connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we are able to connect with the Imam of our time, may Allah hasten his reappearance, through this heart of ours. Through this heart which is cleansed from sin and ma'siyah. This heart that has reached a level of God consciousness and taqwa. This is the basira in which we are talking about. The basira that gives you a clear vision and perspective of things, which leads you to take the correct choice in life and not deviate from the path of truth. And Amir al-Mu'mineen salamullahi alayhi, he speaks about this in a number of narrations. He says, فَإِنَّمَا الْبَصِيرُ مَنْ سَمِعَ فَتَفَكَّرَ. He's giving the characteristics of that person who is considered to be a basir, one with insight. The insightful one is truly the one who listens, then reflects, looks, then truly sees, benefits from the lessons of others, from the experience of others, and walks on the path, avoiding stumbling in the pitfalls. So basira then is a type of a clear vision which a person can build through contemplation, through tafakkur, through seeking closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, it's very important for us to clarify this point, because a lot of people may think that basira means knowledge. So the more knowledge you have and the more understanding you have about something, an idea, a concept, a subject, whatever, in whatever field it is, that means that you are a person who has basira. Basira does not equal knowledge. You have many people who they have, mashallah, a lot of knowledge and understanding in whatever field it is, but they are not able to take the right choices in life. They are not wise enough to look at things from a different perspective, to look things from far, to look at the picture as a whole, to see what are the consequences of this act that I am going to engage into. So it doesn't mean knowledge. It means looking at things, looking at a picture as a whole, meaning that when you decide to take this decision, whatever it may be, that you look at its consequences, you look at its result, you look, what is it going to be of benefit to me? How is it going to help me be close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And how is it going to aid in my akhirah? This is the understanding of basira. The person who has basira inhibits this trait of basira within their hearts. They are able to have a clear picture of things, which therefore means that they will not take wrong decisions. And unfortunately, many of us do not inhibit this trait of basira within us. That's why we fall in sin. That's why we take wrong choices. That's why some of us, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, may deviate from the path of truth, because we're not looking at things correctly. We're not looking at things with the heart. And aql, together, because we spoke about ma'rifah and ilm, having knowledge and applying that knowledge, right? Correct? When your heart and your aql are working with one another, when the aql, as we mentioned many times, is the leading factor to all of these faculties, then you are able to take the right choice in this life. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. With that being said, when we speak about basira, it's mentioned so much in the Quran. It's mentioned so much in the hadith of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. How do we know if we inhibit this trait of basira? How do I help myself, or what are some of the steps I can take in order for me to have this basira, in order for me to seek closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Because if I apply it, that means that I will take the right choice in whatever field, whatever decision it is in this life. The first step is to analyze all of the information which is given to us. Now, this may seem simple, but it's not as simple as you may think. With this day and age, with the amount of information there is on the internet, social media, wherever we go, we might hear stories and different ideas and different concepts and whatnot. A lot of the times we take this info, whatever it may be, without actually verifying its source, without actually knowing where it's from, without actually knowing if the ma'soom, if it were to be a tradition, let's say of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, if the ma'soom was the one who actually said it. Is this the actual words of the Quran? You know, a lot of people just share things on Facebook and Twitter, and they don't even know the source. It just sounds nice, right? So you just share it. It gets me likes and views. But that's not what basira means. To apply basira in this simple example is for one to make sure and analyze that information that is given to him. We may base an idea, we may base our religion sometimes on a post or on a concept which we heard of from our friends, and we just took like that without asking a scholar about it, asking our parents about it, asking our friends about it. And we start to build this ideology, which sometimes is not the correct ideology because we lack taking these steps of analyzing this information. Putting all of the ihtimalat. There's a chance, there's a possibility that it may be wrong. There's a possibility that this info is not correct. And in so many different aspects in our life, we may hear stories in our communities. A person may come and tell you, oh, Fulan did this. Look at this family. Look at what happened with this guy and his wife. This person, so and so, look at the story. We take the story and we start spreading it around. This is how rumors are made. This is how the fitna starts in the communities. Ghiba and namima and all this gossip starts out of nowhere because of this fake news without one actually making sure it is correct. And even if you make sure it's correct, in this example, if you find a aib, something that your brother or sister does not accept for you to speak about, you don't go publicly talk about it. And you don't go and tell the world, oh, Fulan did so and so. There's a hurma, there's a value and sacredness to the human being. And we spoke about it, the sacredness that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells you to protect and to value. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who gave this value to the souls of each and every one of us. This nafis of ours. Izzatun nafis. So having basira in such a simple example like this would be for one to make sure where they are getting their information from, analyzing them, making sure that it is correct, making sure that these are the teachings of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Because in the end of the day, you're building your religion, you have to base it on proof. It has to give the person certainty. This is how we build our aqaid, our fundamental beliefs. Usul ad-din. It's not based on what my dad told me or what my mom told me or what the sheikh said. When it comes to the fundamentals of your religion, you have to fully believe in it through the heart, through your aql. With certainty, with proof, with logic. This is the way to deal with this. And here is where the topic of wali comes, leadership. And we spoke about wali, we spoke about the concept of wilaya, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave certain individuals. إِنَّمَا وَلِيُّكُمُ اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created certain individuals and He has given them this wilaya, this leadership, this authority. And we said the authorities to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has given it to certain individuals, the Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi, and the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. So if we're not sure of something, we refer back to the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. We refer back to the wali, the ma'soom. There's traditions, there's history, there's aqaid we refer to. This is how we build ourselves. And if we don't have access to that and we don't know how to reach that, then we refer to scholars. We refer to these maraji' the Imam salamullahi alayhi, Imam Al-Mahdi, may Allah hasten his reappearance, gave them and this ability and gave them this power, gave him the authority to take care of the ummah in this time of major occultation. That's why we perform taqleed. A lot of people ask, why do we do taqleed? Why is it important to follow someone? I can just do it on my own. We have the Quran between our hands and the traditions of the Ahlul Bayt. Is it really that simple? Can you really understand the Quran? Right now, if you were to open the Quran and I were to tell you read it, are you going to understand this verse just from the Arabic language? Is it as simple as that? Are you going to be able to understand the traditions of the Ahlul Bayt without having the proper tools and equip yourself with the proper knowledge? There's people who study years and years in order to reach a certain level of ijtihad where they are able to derive these ahkam from the Quran and from the Sunnah in order to present them to us. And yet, some of us want to give our opinions when it comes to certain thoughts and certain ideas without having the proper credentials to do so. That's why I refer to the wali. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it easy for me. The whole concept of taqleed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is doing me a favor. Not every one of us is able to go and travel and go to Qom or Najaf or wherever it is to study seminary for years and years to become a mujtahid. Not everyone Not everyone has the time. Not everyone has the mental capacity to handle it and take care of it. Not sometimes the sabr, to be able to sacrifice, to study and give your time to knowledge. Not everyone's able to do that. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, you know what? You can follow a scholar. You can follow a marja. This marja that has so-and-so characteristics and traits, you can follow him. And that's the person who you take this hukum, this law from. And let's say, wal-iyadu billah, this hukum turned out to be wrong later on the day of judgment. In the end of the day, we believe that the conclusion in which the faqih gets to his final conclusion in his research, in his bahth, is the hukm al-zahiri. It's the apparent law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But can we say for a fact it is al-hukm al-waqi'i, the true law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? No one knows that except the ma'soom, the infallible. And when the Imam salamullahi alayhi reappears, perhaps many of these ahkam will differ. And we mentioned yesterday how many of our books throughout Shia history were burned and they were thrown away, and we did not receive any of them. This hukum is the hukum al-dhahiri. So if this wasn't the actual hukum in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment, I don't have anything to do with it. The marja is the one who holds this responsibility. So me following and me doing taqleed and me referring to this wali, it makes things easier for me. It takes that burden off my shoulder. This is what it means to follow. This is what it means to perform taqleed. This is what it means to have basira when it comes to the application of my religion and to whom I take this religion from. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. The second way, or the second step in order for me to build this basira, is to educate myself. We said we need to seek knowledge and we need to refer to certain individuals to take that knowledge from, knowing that they are qualified, knowing that they are people that we can trust, knowing that they are people who have studied for years and years and are able to give us the proper laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then we need to start educating ourselves and reading this ilm, building this ma'rifah, because as we said, the more you know, the more you are able to view things differently. The more I understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the beauty of God, the attributes of God, the sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the mercy of God, the justice of God, the more I start to build a different relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the more I start to love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the more my actions become to change, because I don't want to disobey my beloved. And this is the highest levels of spirituality. So we need to educate ourselves. And the Quran speaks about this. هل يستوي الذين يعلمون والذين لا يعلمون? Are those who know, those who have knowledge, and those without knowledge deemed equal? Can they be placed at the same level? Of course not. Amir al-Mu'mineen salamullahi alayhi, or Imam al-Kadhim, he says in a tradition, تَفَقَّهُ فِي دِينِ اللَّهِ فَإِنَّ الْفِقْهَ مِفْتَاحُ الْبَصِيرَةِ. Learn the fiqh, the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for as the fiqh, the laws of God, they are the key for one to build this basira. Learning the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a way to build this basira. Educating yourself. Knowing the ahkam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How am I going to know what to stay away from and what to do? And how to act? And if I'm put in a certain situation, how to deal with it? There's ahkam, there's ways. I need to educate myself. I need to have ilm. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi, he says, 2 rik'ahs prayed by a person with knowledge, an alim, is greater in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than 1,000 rik'ahs prayed by a normal person without knowledge, without ilm. And it's very obvious why. Because when I am praying and I understand the words that I am reciting, when I say قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدْ اللَّهُ الصَّمَدْ, when I say Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, when I raise my hands in the beginning of the salat to say Allahu Akbar. I understand the words that I am uttering. That's why my salat is looked upon differently in the eyes of God. That's why this salat is better than 1,000 salats. Because I have knowledge in the reality of this prayer, in the dimensions of this prayer. That this prayer is supposed to be a way to lead me to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala direct. As-salat mi'rajul mu'min. It should ascend the soul of mine to the different realms. When does it do so? When I understand what I am saying. When I understand the words. When I understand in whose presence I am in right now. When I understand who am I talking to at this current moment, which is the creator of the world and the master of the day of judgment. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. The third step in building this basira is adapting to the time and place in which you live in, which is extremely, extremely important, especially for us living here in the West. A lot of us, we have our children in schools, our children, Allahu A'lam, what they are getting fed, and we do not really, some of us, I'm not going to say everyone, some of us may not be aware of the situation or how serious it is or what's going on. What are these teachings? What are the ideologies? What are they trying to do? We're very far from what's going on in this society in which we live in, whether it's on the political point of view, whether in terms of education, in terms of the ideas that are being spoken about. How do I expect to protect my child and to make sure that he or she do not fall in a wrong path if I myself don't have the proper education when it comes to this? How am I going to protect them? If my child has a problem that they are facing in school and they come to me and they tell me and I have no idea what he's talking about or what she's talking about, how am I going to help them? How am I going to be of aid to them? In the end of the day, I do have a responsibility as a parent, as a caretaker, to help guide them. How am I going to guide them if I myself am not guided? If I myself do not have this knowledge? If I myself don't understand what's going on? There's a saying they say in Aqa'id, فَاقِدُ الشَّيْء لَا يُعْطِيهِ. If someone is empty of something, then how is he going to give? If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't have this generosity, how is he going to give me generosity? If he is not generosity and mercy, how is he going to give me this mercy? Similarly, when it comes to us, if I'm not properly equipped, how am I going to give to my child? And how am I going to help them? And how am I going to guide them? Don't think that it's enough to bring my child to the mosque or to the madrasa and that's enough. You've done your part and you've done your responsibility. Because a lot of people, they think it's enough. They're learning at the mosque. They're attending a lecture every week. It's more than enough. They'll be okay. They'll learn there. You have a duty upon you, especially in this day and age. And you guys know what I'm talking about. How are you going to protect your children if you do not know what's going on? Imam al-Sadiq salamullahi alayhi, he says, Al-alimu bizamanih, la tahjumu alayhi al-lawabis. The one who knows what's going on in his era and his time will never fall in confusion, will never take wrong decisions and choices in life. Because they understand what's happening. And they are able to, at least if they don't have the information or they don't understand how to deal with it, the situation that they are in, they are able to go to those who can guide them and help them. At the least part, this is the least we can do. But how are you going to do this if you live in your own bubble and your child's in their own bubble and your family's in their own bubble and you're just worried and all you're just thinking of is work and how am I going to make money and what am I supposed to do and so on. 24/7, that's all you're thinking about. Where's the tawakkul? Where's the trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Where's the belief that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you rizq and sustenance? Something to ponder upon and to think of. The fourth step in how we build this basira, which is perhaps the most important, it is working on our nafs. It is overpassing this nafs of ours, this desire. Because we are all prisoners to the I. I want to do this. I feel like doing this. I want to be this. I want to act like this. And this is what we're fed in society nowadays, where you can be whatever you want and do whatever you want. If a person is not able to overpass this nafs of his, and if a person is not able to fight this shaitan inside of him, how is he going to build this basira? How is he going to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? How is he going to feel these levels of spirituality? How is he going to be from the ansar of the Imam salamullahi alayhi? If what's leading him is the desires and emotions, and every decision he or she take is based on emotion and desire, without using the aql, and without thinking of the consequences, and without thinking of the reality of the act in which you are doing. Working on the nafs. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi, in one of the battles after the Muslimin were victorious in, the battle ended. He gathered them and he gave them a speech. He told them, blessed those of you who have performed the minor jihad and have not yet performed the major jihad. Now imagine you're coming back from a war, bloodshed, you lost some friends and family, you left your family behind, left your homes, left everything. For Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi to tell you everything you have done is minor. It's nothing big. It's not why we are fighting. It's not the main reason. What is it then, Ya Rasulullah? They ask him, what is this major jihad you are talking about, Ya Rasulullah? He tells them, jihadun nafs. The struggle against the self. Anyone can learn how to fight and battle, but not anyone is able to fight the shaitan within them. Not anyone is able to tell this nafs of theirs, I'm not going to let you lead me. I'm not going to let you drag me to sin. I am not going to let you deviate me from the path of truth, from tariq al-haq. There are so many examples throughout history of individuals who, mashallah, they were religious. They used to pray. They used to fast. They were pious Muslims. But when the moment of truth arrived, when they were put under a true test and tribulation, they failed. One of these individuals was Abdul Malik ibn Marwan, la'natullah alayh, who was one of the most cold-hearted governors of Banu Umayyah, who killed and imprisoned many of the Shia of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Now this person, before he became governor and before he became caliph, you know what his title or his nickname was, what they used to call him? Haliful Quran. The ally of the Quran. He would follow the Quran wherever he would go. He would recite the Quran constantly. He memorized the Quran. However, when the Khilafah was presented to him, Hubb al-Dunya, look at what I will be, look what I will have, no matter what it takes to get there. What did he say? As the verse mentions, هذا فراق بيني وبينك. This is where me and you, O Quran, we take our separate paths, different ways. And he did what he did to the Shia of the Ahlul Bayt. So many of these examples, brothers and sisters. There's a very nice quote by Sayyid al-Shaheed Muhammad Baqir al-Sadr rahmatullah ta'ala alayhi. In one of his lectures, he says, when he's speaking about the dunya and what this dunya can do to you, the dunya that is condemned, the dunya that takes you away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, oh human being, oh insan, هل عرضت عليكم دنيا هارون الرشيد? Has the dunya of Harun al-Rashid, who was Harun al-Rashid? The one who imprisoned Imam al-Kadhim salamullahi alayhi. The one who tortured Imam al-Kadhim salamullahi alayhi. Sayyid al-Shaheed is showing us. Sometimes we say we don't want the dunya. We won't accept the dunya. But has there ever been a chance where it was presented to us in all of its pleasures and we rejected it? Harun al-Rashid, who had everything. He had soldiers, he had money, he had lands, he had servants, anything you could think of. He had the dunya. Back then, that was the definition of the perfect life, and from a materialistic aspect. Have we ever been in such a situation and we rejected this dunya, knowing that it is going to take me away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? If I am put in a situation like that, am I going to reject it or am I going to accept it because of this nafs and these desires and these emotions of mine? Similarly to what Umar ibn Sa'd did when he was promised by Yazid. He was promised by Yazid to take the lands of Ray in Persia. And it is mentioned in history that after what happened in Karbala, Yazid did not give him anything. Imagine, he lost the dunya and he lost akhirah. He did what he did to Sayyid al-Shuhada, salamullahi alayhi. And in the end, even from the materialistic aspect, he got nothing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala plans, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala works in a different way. But the human being needs to be able to control this nafs of theirs so they can take the right decisions and right choices. The rest is on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As long as what you are doing is according to the Sharia, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless it. You may not see the results right away. It will take time. It may take months. It may take years. Perhaps there's wisdom behind it. There's a maslahah why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't want to accept your dua at this specific moment. Allahu a'lam why. There are people, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala were to give them rizq at this moment, they're going to be so engaged with this rizq and dunya, they may start lacking in their worship. And there's a true story about this. One time there's a person, he would always come to this marja, and he would tell him, Shaykhna, I keep praying, I want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give me rizq. We're not doing too well. I'm not able to work. My dua is not working. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is doing this. This marja asked him, do you pray? He told him yes. He told him, do you pray on time? He told him yes. He told him, do you wake up for Salat al-Fajr every day? He said yes. He said, Alhamdulillah, what do you want better than that? Keep praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ask Him for rizq. But keep the way you are. Time passes by. This person, subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him this rizq. And he became very rich. He opened a number of shops and stores and he had a big business. He comes back to that marja' crying and complaining. He tells him, Shaykhna, I used to remember when I used to come to you back in the day and complain why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hasn't given me this rizq. Yes, I think now I know the answer to that. Why? Ever since I have had this amount of money and I started all of these businesses and these shops, they've taken so much of my time that I'm no longer waking up for Salat al-Fajr. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sometimes, just because of a salat, which is the most important, as-salat amud ad-din, the pillar of our religion, in qubilat qubila ma siwaha wa in ruddat rudda ma siwaha, if it is accepted, everything is accepted, and if it is rejected, everything else is rejected. Because of this salat, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to bless this individual every single day in talking to him and performing Salat al-Fajr, He gave him this rizq. He accepted his dua. But unfortunately, this person was dragged by this nafs of theirs. They were not able to control it. And he started to fall slowly. This is what happens. At the time of Amir al-Mu'mineen, salamullahi alayhi, one of the companions of Amir al-Mu'mineen, Kumayl ibn Ziyad, who dua Kumayl is dedicated to. One time he was walking in the alleys with Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, salamullahi alayhi, in the middle of the night. And they could hear a voice, tasbih and recitation of Quran late in at the night. Kumayl, he tells Amir al-Mu'mineen, how beautiful is this? The Muslims waking up in the night, speaking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, reciting Quran, praying Salat al-Layl. Amir al-Mu'mineen, salamullahi alayhi, didn't comment. Time passes by. In the battle of Siffin, Amir al-Mu'mineen, salamullahi alayhi, he brings Kumayl. He tells him, Kumayl, come here. Remember when you were praising those who were reciting the Quran and praying Salat al-Layl and so on? Look where they are. They were the ones who fought against Amir al-Mu'mineen, salamullahi alayhi. They turned out to be from the Khawarij. It's not kathrat al-ibadah. It's never about how much you pray and how much you recite the Quran. It's about your understanding of the Quran, your understanding of the salat. Having basira when you are performing this worship of yours. That's why Imam Zayn al-Abidin, salamullahi alayhi, in his munajat in al-Sahif al-Sajadiyah, one of the prayers, in one of the lines he would say, اجعل البصيرة في عبادتي. Make me have basira when I am worshipping you, Ya Allah, because if there's no basira, if there's no insight, I don't understand the reality of this worship. I might think I am a person who's, masha'Allah, religious, but in reality I am not. The people who fought against Imam al-Hussein, salamullahi alayhi, they're Muslims, right? They used to recite the Quran. Some of them were huffaz of the Quran. They used to pray jama'ah. Imagine, throughout that time, they were praying jama'ah. They finished their salat and they want to fight against the Imam, salamullahi alayhi, and to commit the most horrific of crimes. They were Muslims, but there was no basira in their ibadah, in their worship. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. These were some of the examples of people at the time of Amir al-Mu'mineen, salamullahi alayhi. If we look at the time of Imam al-Hussein, salamullahi alayhi, we see that there were 4 different types of people. You have those, the group who had hatred and grudge towards the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, and would explicitly show it. They didn't care. They hated Amir al-Mu'mineen, salamullahi alayhi. That was one who didn't even claim they were religious. Another group were a group from different society, a group that were misled, they were misguided. They were what we call in Arabic, mudallalin. They were deceived. And if you look at what Muawiyah and Yazid were planning back in the days, and how they would speak about the Ahlul Bayt, and how they would speak about the religion of Islam in a way where they would bring their own teachings from their own pockets, to a point where Amir al-Mu'mineen, salamullahi alayhi, after his martyrdom and after Ibn Muljam, la'natullah ta'ala alayhi, struck the Imam. What did the people of Sham say? أَوَكَانَ عَلِيٌّ يُصَلِّي? Allahu Akbar. They said, and did Ali used to pray? They were shocked. They couldn't believe it. Ali used to pray? They were misguided. They were misled. This was how the society was back then. And it's very easy for us to be misled in this day and age if we don't have this basira, brothers and sisters. This was one group of people. There was another group of people, no, they had knowledge. They were a community that had supposedly strong ideology. And they used to respect Amir al-Mu'mineen. And they used to love what Amir al-Mu'mineen, salamullahi alayhi, did when he took over in Kufa. And when Amir al-Mu'mineen, salamullahi alayhi, was able to make a system, and this system was based on justice and equality, and he would treat everyone the same, and he would treat everyone with utmost dignity and respect. However, When Imam al-Hussein salamullahi alayhi asked them for help, they sent Imam al-Hussein thousands of letters. Till the Imam salamullahi alayhi, he sends Muslim bin Aqil, and we all know the story. No one was left with Muslim. Some of these individuals, straight up, they would tell the Imam that we're scared. We're not ready. We have so much fear. They had belief in the Imam. They knew what the Imam is doing is right. They know he is a representative of God and his word is the word of God. But because of this fear in their hearts, they were scared to leave their homes. They were scared to give everything and sacrifice everything they have for the sake of the Imam salamullahi alayhi and for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They stayed behind. They lacked basira, because if they had basira, they would know that the word of the Imam is the word of God. And following the Imam will lead you to paradise. And not following the Imam will take you to the hellfire. This was one group of people. The last group of people is the group who were the companions of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein salamullahi alayhi. There's a reason why they were only 72. There was a reason for that. In the words of the enemies, you know what they used to call them? تُقَاتِلُونَ أَهْلَ الْبَصَائِرِ. You are fighting against the people who have insights, the people who have foresight, the people who are able to see things from a different way, people who have true faith and iman in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and in the Quran and in the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. When we speak about Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas, dear brothers and sisters, what is the most common thing we speak about? His bravery, his courage, his strength, how he protected Sukaina and the children of Imam al-Hussein salamullahi alayhi, and how he stood out and he never feared anyone. This is how we praise Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas alayhi salam. Do you know how Imam al-Sadiq salamullahi alayhi praises Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas in his ziyarah? He says, Assalamu alayka ya nafid al-basira. Peace and blessings be upon you, O you who carried this basira in your hearts. It was because of that basira that Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas salamullahi alayhi was able to do what he did in Karbala. And on a night like this, dear brothers and sisters, we remember Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas. We send our condolences to the Imam of our time. May Allah hasten his reappearance on the Musab of Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas. Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas, the son of Amir al-Mu'mineen, the son of al-Baneen, the one who had utmost respect to Imam al-Hussein salamullahi alayhi. It is said that never would he call Hussein by the word Akhi, oh brother. He would always call him Master, Sayyidi ya Aba Abdullah. It is said one time Imam al-Hussein salamullahi alayhi was in the mosque and he became thirsty. He told Qambar, oh Qambar, go and bring me some water, please. Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas salamullahi alayhi, he saw this and he told Qambar, sit, I will take care of it. I will bring water for my master, Abi Abdullah al-Hussein. Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas rushes towards the house. And he brings water to his master, Abi Abdullah al-Hussein. He carries it on his head. With humility, he brings it to Imam al-Hussein and he tells him, my master, O Hussein, take this. And from that moment onwards, Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas salamullahi alayhi was known as Saqil Utasha, the quencher of the thirst. This title was given to him by Amir al-Mu'mineen salamullahi alayhi. And indeed, Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas was the quencher of the thirst in Karbala on the day of Ashura. He was the one to go and get Abi Abdullah and the children water. After Imam al-Hussein, Salamullahi alayh, and his companions have been martyred, all his family members have been killed, except his brother Abil Fadl al-Abbas. He was carrying the banner of Imam al-Hussein. He was the general of Imam Hussein's army. He goes to his brother and he asks him for permission to go to the battlefield. He tells him, "O master, O Hussein, do you give me permission to go and fight?" Imam al-Hussein, he looks at his brother, he looks at the banner that Abil Fadl al-Abbas is carrying in his hands, and he tells him, "Aba al-Fadl, anta hamilu liwa'i, kafilu mahmali. إن ذهبت عني سقط لوائي آل جمعي إلى الشتات." Oh, Abul Fadl, you carry my banner, you are the guardian of my family, you are the guardian of Zainab. If you depart from me, my banner will fall, leaving all of us scattered all around. Abul Fadl al-Abbas, here's the children crying, Al-Atash, Al-Atash, Ammah ya Abbas. We are thirsty, O uncle, O Abbas. Bring us water, O uncle. Abbas tells him, "My master, O Hussein, let me get these poor children some water. Let me quench their thirst." Imam al-Hussein at first didn't allow him until he finally says, "Ya Abul Fadl, go and bring them water and come back." He allows Abil Fadl al-Abbas to go. Abil Fadl al-Abbas takes the water bag with him. He heads to the Euphrates rivers. He battles the enemies, taking them down after the other until many of them were scared of Abil Fadl al-Abbas. He was the lion on the battlefield, just like his father, Amir al-Mu'mineen. He then made it to the river. Abil Fadl al-Abbas, he put his hand in the water. His heart was boiling with thirst. He could feel how cold the water was. He raises his hand to drink from this water, but he remembers the thirst of Abi Abdullah al-Hussein. He remembers the thirst of Sukayna. He throws the water out of his hands and he says, "Ya nafs min ba'd al-Husayn huni wa ba'dahu ma kunti aw takuni hadha Husayn warid al-manuni وتشربين بارد المعين تالله ما هذا فعال ديني ولا فعال صادق اليقين. O soul, after Hussein be calm, and after him you shall neither be nor exist. This is Hussein, the one whose arrival brings blessings, and you shall drink from the cool springs. By Allah, this is not the act of my religion, nor the act of someone true in faith. How can Abul Fadl al-Abbas accept to drink when Sukayna and Ali al-Asghar are thirsty? What am I going to tell my father, Amir al-Mu'mineen, when I see him? Abul Fadl al-Abbas fills the water bag. He heads towards the tents to deliver them to Hussein and Sukayna. Until Umar ibn Sa'd, he tells his army, "Don't let him go, block his path. If the water reaches Hussein and his family, we will never be able to defeat them." They then start to attack him one after the other, and he fights them bravely until a man by the name of Yazid ibn al-Raqad al-Jaghani, he goes behind the tree
and he hits Abil Fadl al-Abbas on his right arm and he cuts it off. Abul Fadl al-Abbas does not give up. He holds the sword and the water bag in one hand and he says, Wallahi in qatta'tum yamini inni uhami abadan an dini نجل النبي الطاهر الأمين وعن إمام الصادق اليقين by Allah. Even if you cut off my right hand, I will forever protect my religion. I am the son of the pure, the trustworthy prophet, and the supporter of the truthful, certain Imam. He continues to fight them bravely with one hand until another enemy of Allah, Hukaym ibn al-Tufail, he hits Abil Fadl al-Abbas on his left arm and he cuts it off. Abil Fadl al-Abbas doesn't have a right arm and a left arm anymore. He calls, Ya nafsu la takhshay min al-kuffari واستبشري برحمة الجبار مع النبي الطاهر المختار قد قطعوا ببغيهم يساري فأصلهم يا رب حر النار. O soul, do not fear the disbelievers and rejoice in the mercy of the Almighty. With the chosen, the pure prophet, they cut off my left arm with their transgressions. Oh Lord, punish them with your fire. He then puts the water back in his mouth. All he wanted to do was deliver the water to Imam al-Hussein and his children, until the arrows were shattering at him from all angles. One arrow hit the water bag, so the water fell on the ground. Another arrow hits his chest. Another arrow hits him in his eye. And then an enemy of Allah, he hits Abul Fadl al-Abbas with a metal pole on his head. Abul Fadl al-Abbas falls on the ground calling, أخي يا حسين أدركني. This was the first time and the only time he called Imam al-Hussein with the word Akhi, oh my brother. Oh Hussein, come to me, Ya Aba Abdullah, come to my aid, Ya Sayyid al-Shuhada. Abu Abdullah, salamullahi alayh, he comes running towards his brother Abil Fadl al-Abbas. As he walks towards the battlefield, he sees an arm on the ground. It's the right arm of Abil Fadl al-Abbas. He walks furthermore, he sees another arm. It's the left arm of Abil Fadl al-Abbas. Until the Imam reaches al-Abbas. He hugs him, he kisses him. He puts his head on his lap, but Abil Fadl al-Abbas removes it. Imam al-Hussein puts Abil Fadl al-Abbas' head on his lap another time, and Abbas removes it, and a third time, and he removes it. Hussein tells him, Ya Abil Fadl, I am your brother. Why are you moving your head from my lap? Wallahi, brothers and sisters, this is one of the most heartbreaking moments. He says, أنت الآن تضع رأسي في حجرك ولكن بعد ساعة من الذي سيضع رأسك في حجره. He says, oh brother, Ya Abba, oh brother, oh Hussein, you put my head on your lap now, but after an hour, where will أبا عبد الله? What will Shimr do to you, Ya Hussein? إمام الحسين سلام الله عليه says الآن انكسر ظهري وقلت حيلتي والشمت بي عدوي. Now my back has been broken. Now I am left with no supporter. أبا الفضل العباس is gone. يا خويا يا خويا انكسر ظهري ولا أقدر أقوم. والله صرت مركز يا خويا الكل الغموم. يا خويا استوحدوني بعدك القوم ولا واحد علي بعد ينغير. Imam al-Hussein then wanted to bring him to the tent, but Abbas told him, brother Ya Hussein, do not take me to the tent. Why, Ya Abbas? Because I am ashamed of Sukaina, I am ashamed of Zainab, I am ashamed of the children. I did not fulfill my promise. I was not able to bring them water. Allahu Akbar. The news then reaches Zainab Salamullahi alayha. She sees Hussein Salamullahi alayhi all alone. She tells him, Akhi ya Hussein, where is Abbas? Where is my guardian? He tells her, oh Zainab, أعظم الله لك الأجر بأخيك العباس. He tells her, oh Zainab, Abbas is gone. Your guardian is gone. Your protector is gone. Ya al-Masa'ib. والله يا زينب يا زينب راح عباس. The poet describes this scene, Zainab calling upon her guardian, saying, Abbas, oh Abbas, all I want is to see you. I want to smell you. I want to hug you. I want to be next to you. As if Abbas, salamullahi alayh, replies to Zainab. He tells her, oh Zainab, forgive me. Forgive me, O daughter of Ali, for what is going to happen to you after I am gone. سامحيني عن نهار لو طاحت يساري ويميني. سامحيني سامحيني هذه آخر كلمة ما بينك وبيني. What does he say to Zainab? Forgive me, forgive me, if my left and right fell next to the river. Forgive me, forgive me, These are the last words between you and me. يم الأحزان حان الوداع، هذا حكم الله وعلينا أمر جاري. يا اختي واليوم اعتذر جيت، وارجو أن تقبلي اعتذاري. In the depth of sorrows, the time of farewell has come. This is the decree of Allah, and we must obey it willingly. My sister, oh Zainab, my sister, I apologize as I come. My sister, and I hope you accept my apologies. Ya Abbas, everyone together. Ya Abbas, Ya Abbas, Ya Abbas, Ya Abbas. السلام عليك يا أبا الفضل العباس، ورحمة الله وبركاته. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون، والعاقبة للمتقين. السلام عليك يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله الحسين. السلام عليك وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. Everyone together in a loud voice, let your voices reach Karbala. السلام وعلى علي، louder، وعلى أولاد وعلى أصحاب الحسين، وعلى عقيلة الحسين زينب، وعلى أخيها وحبيبها وكافلها أبي الفضل العباس ورحمة الله وبركاته. يا الله, raise your hands for dua. اللهم إنا نسألك وندعوك بأحب الخلق إليك فاطمة وأبيها وبعلها وبنيها والسر المستودع فيها. ما تركت لنا ذنبا إلا غفرته، ولا غما إلا فرجته، ولا سقما إلا شفيته، ولا مريضا إلا وعافيته. يا الله, اللهم وفقنا لمراضيك. يا الله, جنبنا معاصيك. ارحمنا برحمتك الواسعة يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم اشف كل مريض، اللهم فك قيد كل أسير، اللهم ارحمنا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Brothers and sisters, there's a number of our brothers and sisters who have asked us for du'as to cure their sick ones, their beloved ones, for the qada of their hawaj. Let us recite the verse 5 times, everyone together. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء. أمن يجيب أمن يجيب أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء. أمن يجيب اللهم اكشف السوء عنا يا الله. اللهم ارحمنا برحمتك الواسعة. اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج والنصر والعافية، ونحن في خير منك وعافية يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. وصل اللهم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. For the souls of all our dead ones, our respected maraji and ulama, everyone who has left this dunya, and the love of Ali ibn Abi Talib, let us recite for their souls the Surah Al-Mubarakat Al-Fatiha. But before it, a loud salawat ala Muhammadin wa Ali Muhammad.
يا سيدي يا مظلوم، 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 يا مظلوم، يا سيدي يا مظلوم، يا سيدي يا مظلوم، يا ما شاء الله. يدي يا مظلوم، يا سيدي 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 يا سيدي يا مظلوم يا سيدي يا مظلوم يا سيدي يا مظلوم يا مظلوم يا الاتش خیمه ها ناله و اشک ربا ساقی لب تشنه رفت در پی یک قطره آب زاده البنین رفت ولی برنگشت سوخت دل مادری آب میسر نگشت امید زینب شد ناامید امید زینب شد ناامید جیب المال اسکین ای شهید موج دریا مشک سقا اشک زهرا یا ابوالفضل یا ابوالفضل بالفضل یا ابوالفضل یا ابوالفضل ابوالفضل مشک و علم یک طرف دست قلم یک طرف الاتش کودکان بین حرم یک طرف ناله ادرک اخاک میرسد از القمه زاده البنین شد پسر فاطمه ابروی پیوسته شد جدا کربلا تازه شد کربلا ای تشنه لب عشق زینب کاشف الکرب یا ابوالفضل ابوالفضل یا ابوالفضل یا ابوالفضل یا ابوالفضل از زائر کوی حسین گشت دل و جان ما زائر کوی حسین گشت دل و جان ما بسته به موی حسین حال پری شان ما دلخوشی عاشقان روزه خون خداست جنت ما هیئت است مقصد ما کربلاست جنت ما هیئت است مقصد ما کربلاست مولایم اربابم یا حسین از عشقت بیتابم یا حسین فریاد حل من ناصرت در یاد ماست یا لیتنا کنا معک فریاد ماست یا ابوالفضل 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 یا زاده زهرا ابا عبدالله زاده زهرا ابا عبدالله قبله دلها ابا عبدالله دنیا و عقبا ابا عبدالله دنیا و عقبا ابا عبدالله زاده زهرا ابا عبدالله قبله دلها ابا عبدالله دنیا و عقبا ابا عبدالله دنیا و عقبا ابا عبدالله زاده زهرا ابا الله قبله دلها ابا عبدالله دنیا و عقبا ابا عبدالله دنیا و عقبا الله من کیم خاک پایت حسین جان من کیم خاک پایت حسین جان من کیم خاک پایت حسین جان من که هستم گدایت حسین جان جان من قابلت را ندارد جان عالم فدایت حسین جان زاده زهرا ابا عبدالله قبله دلها ابا عبدالله دنیا و عقبا ابا عبدالله دنیا و عقبا الله گرچه دورم از تو گم کردم راه روزه خواندم تو را هر سحرگاه مثل هر صفحه مقتل تو خیسم از اشک و میسوزم از آه زاده زهرا ابا عبدالله قبله دلها ابا عبدالله دنیا و عقبا ابا عبدالله دنیا و عقبا ابا عبدالله زاده زهرا ابا عبدالله زاده زهرا دلها قبله دلها ابا عبدالله دنیا و عقبا ابا عبدالله دنیا و عقبا لا عبدم و عبد نعم الامیرم از تولای تو ناگزیرم وای اگر بی غمت زنده مانم کربلا را نبینم بمیرم زاده زهرا ابا عبدالله زاده زهرا ابا عبدالله قبله دلها ابا عبدالله دنیا و عقبا ابا عبدالله زاده زهرا ابا قبله دل ها ابا عبدالله دنیا و عقبا ابا عبدالله دنیا و عقبا لا جز هوای تو در سر ندارم بین غم تو نفس بر نیارم تا وفاداریم را ببینی جان خود را به تو می سپارم زاده زهرا ابا الله زاده زهرا ابا عبدالله قبله دلها ابا عبدالله قبله دلها ابا عبدالله دنیا و عقبا ابا عبدالله دنیا و عقبا دلله حسین 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 یا حیدر 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 در یا حیدر یا حیدر یا زهرا 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 یا حسن 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 یا زینب 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 نب یا عباس 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 أين الطالب بدم المقتول بكربلاء دم المقتول بكربلاء أين الطالب بدم المقتول بكربلاء کربلا كل يوم عاشوراء كل يوم كل أرض كربلا كل أرض كربلا وارث خون حسین مهدی زهرا بیا وارث خون حسین مهدی زهرا بیا یار مظلومان کی می رسی از راه یار مظلومان کی می رسی از راه العجل العجل يا حجة الله العجل العجل يا حجة الله العجل العجل يا حجة الله العجل يا حجة الله العجل العجل يا حجة الله صلى الله عليك يا مظلوم يا أبا عبد الله أبا الفضل طلای دار عالمینی پناه خیمه حسینی آقای من ای به کربلا تو ذوالفقارم دو چشم مست تو قرارم وای خدا گواه من میمیرم اگه بری تو از کنارم اگه بری تو از کنارم ساقی کربلا ابوالفضل ساقی کربلا ابوالفضل ساقی کربلا ابوالفضل ای پناه دردمندان یا حسین ای پناه دردمندان یا حسین مظهر الطاف یزدان یا حسین بار دیگر این گدای آشنا نزد تو میهمان گردیده یا حسین آقای من مولای من جان زهرا مادر مظلومت روی از ما برمگردان یا حسین یک نگاه لطف تو کافی بود تا دهد صد مرده را جان یا حسین 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 حسین یا حسین صلی الله علیک یا مظلوم یا ابا عبدالله السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. صلوات.